I am quite resolved about battling this threat to judicial independence. More than anything, I believe that we are seeing at this point in our history where institutions are being shaken. That's why there must be greater effort and care on the part of all institutions to see how fissures within can be exploited in order that disunity can be solved. So, considering that the Constitution provides for how impeachment proceedings are to be handled, I am confident that in time the baselessness of the charges against me will come out. So I am, as you can see, calm and battle ready. Well, I guess in any organization, there will be occasions when these kinds of problems will arise. But I am sure that in time, when the dust settles, we will all come around again and move forward for the delivery of justice to our people. It's important to understand that there have been many times and many occasions when the major institutions of this country have been shaken, and this is just one of such times. But there can always be healing, there can always be reunification, as in with many other organizations. It's a common phenomenon among human organizations. If you observe the hearings, the moment that this is just the feedback I had been getting from the people who had been monitoring the hearings, because I hadn't been spending a lot of time monitoring the hearings because I have a full-time job. The sense I get from people's feedback is that when testimonies would tend to favor me, they did not allow the full explanations to come out. The reverse is true, however. So I believe that at the end of the day, the only way to settle the question of what is the truth is first, well, there is already the impression that one side had already been given and they have not been able to make out any case. Now, it will even be clearer if finally my side will be given. I will have my day in the impeachment court. That's why I keep on repeating, give me my day in the impeachment court. The President has made it on record several times that he's not involved. But I guess we just let the people decide that question. My thoughts on the matter will remain private, and I thank you. I actually wanted that question to be decided by the people if I am allowed to have my day in the Senate impeachment court. First, you see, the budget of the judiciary comes from Congress. And many times it has proven difficult actually to deal with Congress when it comes to saying that it is very important for people to have fiercely independent judges. It's not the second nature, I guess, of politicians to welcome such a statement. So you can understand the consequence of trying to push for a bigger budgetary support from a Congress that may not have full appreciation for the value of judicial independence. So I have also made a call quite recently that when the President makes appointments, the best thing any President can ever do is to tell the appointee, the only thing I ask from you, is for you to always do what is right. If our leaders from the political branches can rise to that level and really push that of their own accord, they will not hang on to the coercive powers that are with them in order to give free rein to judicial independence by really allowing judges to decide freely without inordinate pressure, they would do a great service to our country. In the same manner that I wish that the political branches would really stay away from the judiciary. But the impeachment process being ordained in the Constitution as something I have to go through, I simply have to go through it. Now, if the people will be able to hear the side where we are going to talk about judicial reform and what kinds of support we need from the people to be really a strong judiciary, I think that's an important episode for the people's walk in democracy. Then they will find out that for them to have democracy, they have to fully participate and demand that the political branches stay off what is supposed to be an independent branch, and shed a little of their tendency to really pressure. So that being said, I believe that if the impeachment process is allowed to fully flower, and I am able to give my side of the story, then that way they will see that you have a Supreme Court headed by a justice who some may not like, but regardless of the difficulties we have brought it along and produced a lot of good work. Work that is resonating down to the lowest level. We are able to deliver justice faster. We are able to do structural improvements. We are able to reach a lot of people with the reforms that are going on. And maybe we can bring people to the realization that in time, we will be able to settle our differences. And we are best left to settle our internal administrative problems on our own. In the meantime, what I hope to gain is to gain the public understanding that it is to everyone's interest to push for an independent judiciary. And they will appreciate that this Chief Justice, with all due respect to some who say otherwise, has done her best to fight fiercely for independence. You have seen that with my dealings with the former president who appointed me. You have seen that with my letter, very respectful letter to the president, calling on him to observe the constitutional principles regarding charges being leveled against one of our own, and reminding judges that their best defense is really following the Constitution. I have done my best to defend the judiciary on another occasion with respect to my statement regarding the problem that arose from the Court of Appeals and the House of Representatives during the so-called Ilocos 6 controversy. I hope that people will now begin to realize that when you have someone who has an important branch, always drawing a clear, bright line, which is respectfully requesting the other branches to please observe so that we do not intrude unduly into each other's turf, that it will be good for our people. People will believe that they can still have a judiciary that they can run to, a judiciary that is strong, that have spines of steel, members have spines of steel, and even when they are poor and powerless, the judges can uphold their rights. It is very important, especially for the poor and for the weak, the voiceless in our society, to believe that there is still a strong judiciary. And a lot of education can also come out of these impeachment proceedings. People will now begin to realize they have basic rights that must be respected. And that the basic respect must start from recognizing the importance of valuing human dignity. It starts from understanding what is the value of the human person in the eyes of the law. So we can go through a good educational process, and I have opened myself vulnerable. And I think if at the end of the day it will be seen that I have not committed a harvest of sins that will merit impeachment, that in fact it will be a stronger reason for us to arrive at a consensus as a society on how we will move democracy, this democracy project of ours, forward. If I resign again, what is the message? You know, there is not enough fight in Filipinos nowadays for the truth. For the strength of one's convictions seem to be waning among us. Is it too much to say that I have to go through this? only because we have to reignite the spirit of steadfast persistence despite so much difficulties. We have to show that spirit once again. Is it too much? I don't think it's too much for me to go through this. I think I will go through it. I will go through it because it is an important part, an important point in our history. Our people must see that there is still this kind of spirit.